Good morning. It's Wednesday, August the 25th. As a schoolboy, I tried my hand at various things. For example, for a time I was in the combined cadet force and diligently polished my boots and pressed my uniform and learned how to march and to shoot. I also ran in the school cross-country team and took part in team competitions all over the country. And one summer I worked on a farm in the East Riding village of Killam. I actually survived, but it was very, very hard work. There's a text in the second letter of Timothy, chapter 2, verses 3 to 6, which reminds me of these early experiences, as it likens Christian discipleship to the work of a soldier, an athlete, and a farmer. The Apostle Paul wrote a good deal about the soldier's armoury and similarly about the discipline and arduous training needed to be a successful athlete. And of course there are many references to farming, seeds, soil, sowing and reaping in the Bible, and not least in Jesus' teaching and parables. But comparing following Jesus to being a farmer is found uniquely in this text from 2 Timothy. Once again, to be successful, farmers have to apply themselves to the job in all seasons and whatever the weather. Now, the work that soldiers, athletes and farmers do is very different. But the common denominator is that each role requires strong motivation, discipline, hard work and single-mindedness. And the letter to Timothy is saying that those who would follow Jesus must also be single-minded. But it's very important to understand what single-mindedness means for the Christian. In Guinevere Glassford's novel, The Year Without Summer, Charles gives everything up to be a preacher. He's definitely single-minded about it, but so much so that he's heedless of obligations towards others. The woman he would like to marry challenges him. "You think yourself so holy," she says. "What charitable thing have you done today?" "Well, this week then. This month." Single-mindedness in the service of Christ doesn't mean giving little or no thought to other matters. It isn't a matter of how regularly one prays or how many services one attends, or even about how often one speaks to another person about faith, important though these things are. No, our calling is to be Christian soldiers who are single-minded in the battle against enemies such as cruelty and greed and envy and sloth and lust. As Christian athletes, we're to train to do well as good neighbours, to become useful members of the community, and to be committed to the disciplines of kindness, forgiveness and compassion. And like farmers, we're to sow good seeds and to work towards a harvest of faith and hope and love in human relationships that can be used to challenge the great prejudices of our time, like racism, intolerance and injustice. Dag Hammarskjöld, who as Secretary General of the United Nations worked single-mindedly to establish justice and peace around the world, wrote a prayer that expresses what you and I, as followers of Jesus, should be single-minded about. And we use that as our prayer today. Let us pray. Lord, give us a pure heart that we may know you, a humble heart that we may hear you, a heart of love that we may serve you, a heart of faith that we may live you. Amen.